episode number 9 of Nicole's Weekly Words. It's really wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm live here on my Facebook page, in my Facebook group, and over on my YouTube channel. So thank you for taking the time. I'm here every Monday at 9 o'clock Sydney time. So I really appreciate you taking the time to join me and to start the week off properly by learning some new impressive English words and by making the effort to use them throughout the week. I hope you've really enjoyed the previous 8 lessons. I've got many more amazing words that I want to teach you over the coming weeks. However, this week I've decided to make things a little bit different. From now on, instead of looking at phrasal verbs, which we have been over the last few weeks, we're going to focus on a different letter of the alphabet every single week. That's right, a different letter of the alphabet. So A this week, B next week, C the following week. And throughout the week, what I will do is I will listen to the television, radio, read lots of newspaper articles, and any words beginning with that particular letter that I think are impressive and that I think you would enjoy learning and using, I will take note of them and teach them to you here every Monday. So we've got a whole alphabet of learning ahead of us, but today we're starting with the letter A. I promise that the session won't be as long today. The last few weeks I am aware that we've been going about 30 minutes, which is a long time for you to give up of your work day or of your study day. So I really appreciate that you have been with me and have been learning, but I'll make a real effort over the next few weeks to make our live online learning lesson a little bit shorter and more manageable for you. Wonderful. Yeah, so I've got 5 great new words today that all begin with the letter A. They're accolade, affluent, ambiguous, abide, and ambivalence. All of these words we will go into detail. I will teach you the different meanings of these words. I'll give you a really detailed explanation of what they mean, and more importantly, I'll give you some example sentences. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask in the comments section below. If I don't see your comment during the live session, please forgive me. And instead I will reply once the session is over. So thank you very much. Are you ready to begin? Well, our first word for this week is accolade. Again, accolade. Now I'm going to focus on 2 different meanings of accolade. The first meaning for accolade is it's an award, okay? It's a recognition of a job that is really well done. So really people are recognizing your achievement. So think about it in your job, in your career. If you reach a particular level, a really impressive level, and you're doing really well professionally, people are giving you, I suppose, their public approval or their praise, or maybe even their congratulations, I suppose, for doing so well. So this professional recognition of your achievements, of a job well done, is what we call an accolade. So it's this public, quite prestigious award or recognition, just to say well done. So, you know, something like the, I suppose, Nobel Peace Prize or any of the Nobel Prizes is a great example of an accolade, you know. It's the highest of the high. It's the best that you can achieve within your particular area, within your particular profession, you know. It's an honor that only a handful of people really achieve. So yeah, fantastic, great word, accolade. Let's have a look at some examples. So I've got, this is an amazing hotel. It has been awarded several accolades. Did you know? Or for him, the ultimate accolade that he could ever receive was his father's approval. Oh, that's so lovely. Or another sentence, he received the highest accolade of his profession at the age of just 26. Incredible. So there you go. That's the first meaning of accolade, an award, recognition, an honor for your profession, for a job well done. The second meaning of accolade, I suppose it's similar, but it's not necessarily for your job. This is more British, I suppose, because it's an official ceremony by the Queen or by a representative of the Queen, such as Prince Charles or maybe Princess Anne. So an official ceremony and recognition by the Queen or one of the royal family members, I suppose, where they are giving you an official title. They are giving you knighthood, I suppose you could say. So it's something quite British, but you don't have to be British in order to receive this recognition. You know, many Americans, many politicians around the world, many scientists are also lucky enough to have an accolade from the Queen, from the royal family. So what does it mean? Well, if you have this official ceremony, this official accolade, the Queen is basically giving you a title. What does that mean? It means that if you're a man, you are allowed to put Sir in front of your name. So for an example there might be Elton John. He is now known as Sir Elton John because the Queen has given him this accolade. Wonderful. So how do they do this? Basically the Queen takes a sword and she taps the sword on the person's shoulder, on the shoulder of the person receiving this honor or title or accolade. And that is the official acknowledgement or the official ceremony, I suppose, if you want to call it that, that you are now able to be known by a title. So if you're a man, you are called Sir. If you're a woman, it's Dame. Interesting. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. So that's right. So basically, the Queen recognizes you for your contribution to her country or to the world for a particular area that you work on. You know, a particular achievement you have made in a particular area. So it might be for science, it might be for medicine, it might be for the entertainment industry. That basically she decides that you deserve recognition, formal recognition. You have the tapping on the shoulder ceremony with a sword, and you are from then on known as Sir blah 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 or Dame blah 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 if you're female. Amazing. So it's a real title of respect, a title of honor, I suppose, and it shows how much you are admired. It shows, I suppose, a big thank you for your contribution, for your amazing achievement in your particular area. So some examples might be Sir Anthony Hopkins, or Sir David Beckham, or Dame Judi Dench, or maybe even Dame Helen Mirren. I'm just thinking of actors and actresses there. I'm so sorry, but there are many others in the areas of science and medicine and politics, etc. So there you go. Instead of saying Mr. or Mrs. or Miss in front of their name, their title is now Sir or Madam. And this is what we call an accolade. Beautiful. So some example sentences. He is the youngest man to ever receive such an honorary accolade from the Queen. Or, for their incredible bravery, they both received an accolade from the Queen herself. Wow. Or, his contribution to the entertainment industry was recognized with an accolade given to him by Prince Charles. So there you go. Accolade, word number one. Let's have a look at word number two. And we're looking at the word affluent. Affluent. So again, we'll have a look at two different meanings for the word affluent. The first is, how could we say this? I suppose it's a more advanced or a more professional, high-level way of saying rich. That's right, it's another word for rich. So when a person is very, very wealthy, when they have a lot of cash in the bank, I suppose, or a lot of expensive possessions, you know, a beautiful house, amazing expensive car or cars, beautiful clothing, designer clothing. They might have a large property portfolio. Basically, they have no money problems. If this describes you or someone else, it means that you are affluent, okay? You're not just rich, but you're doing very, very, very well. You know, you have no money, no financial problems there whatsoever. Pretty good situation to be in. Some examples there of the word affluent would be, she's one of the most affluent celebrities in the country. Not only is she successful professionally, but financially as well. Or only affluent families are invited to this school for an interview. Let me say that again. Only the children of affluent families are invited to this school for an interview. Others don't even have a chance. So there you go. That's the first meaning of affluent, with the meaning of rich. Next, the second meaning of affluent is when you're talking about a specific group of people. They're from a particular area, a particular suburb, a particular part of a city or a country, I suppose. And the majority of the people in that particular area are really well off. You know, they don't have financial problems. They don't have money worries. They have a lot of money. They have a big house. They have, you know, a swimming pool, a car, the dream, basically. They have no money issues. So the second meaning is not just talking about one person who is rich, but about a large group of people from a large area where the majority of people are rich or don't have money problems and are well off, basically. So an example, he comes from a typically affluent neighborhood and he had access to everything that he wanted and needed growing up. Or, the store has significantly grown in size and in popularity thanks to its base of regular affluent customers. So there you go. Affluent means rich, well off for one person or for a group of people in a particular area. Okay, third word for today is the word ambiguous. Ambiguous. Again, we're looking at two meanings. The first meaning for ambiguous is when something is open to more than one interpretation. What do I mean by that? It means that you can understand something in more than one way. You know, it's quite unclear in its meaning, or the meaning of this is not very obvious, I suppose. So there could be more than one meaning or understanding for this particular word or expression or sentence or what someone has said. So it's ambiguous if there's more than one way of interpreting it, more than one way of understanding it. So really what we're looking at with this meaning is the idea of language and interpretation. When you can understand in more than one way or interpret in more than one way. For example, his reply was quite ambiguous. I'm still not quite sure what he expects of this project. Or the contract is phrased in such an ambiguous way that I'm not even sure I want to sign it until some changes are made. Or the ending of the novel was so ambiguous, I was actually a little disappointed. So they're my three sentences giving you the meaning of ambiguous. The second meaning of ambiguous, we're talking here not about language or interpretation as we are with the first meaning, but here we're talking more about the future or about uncertainty about the future or about something. So it's when something is doubtful or uncertain, you know, it's not clear. Not just language, more about the future and future events and future decisions, I suppose. So an example here would be, his future at the company is ambiguous. There it means that it's not really clear whether he will continue with that company and stay with that company or be promoted, etc. in that company. Her eyes are an ambiguous color. Let me say that again. Her eyes are an ambiguous color right now, but I'm sure that they will change as she gets older. So there probably we're talking about a baby, you know, when babies are small, their eye color is quite distinct, you know, but you're not 100% sure whether that eye color will stay the same forever. As they get a bit older, the eye color changes. It might get darker or lighter and more specific to one particular color. Yeah, so there you go. The first meaning of ambiguous is more about language and interpretation, that there is more than one understanding or meaning for something. The second meaning of ambiguous is really when something is doubtful and unclear, more talking about the future or about uncertainty about something. So I hope that's nice and clear and not ambiguous. The fourth word for today is the word abide. Abide. And again, two meanings. I'm really good at two meanings this week. Normally we say abide by. So the preposition by is usually after the word abide. So if you abide by something, it means that you accept or follow a rule or a decision or even a recommendation without objection, so without complaining, without without not agreeing to it. So you're following a rule or a decision or a recommendation without complaint. You're happy to follow it. You're happy to accept it. Yeah, so it's quite a formal expression, abide by. I suppose you could just say you follow a rule, but abide by a rule has a bit of a deeper meaning there. You're not just following it. It really means that you're accepting it without complaint. You're happy to accept it. There is no, what should I say? There is no negativity about it. There is no, what should I say, feeling that you're not sure about it, you know? You abide by it means you're happy to follow it. So I promise to abide by your decision and to respect your wishes. Another one, as a new citizen of this country, I will abide by the laws. Or, yeah, that's enough. Two's enough there. Let's have a look. The second meaning of abide by, again, is really if you make a promise, okay, and you keep that promise. So it's not just making a promise and then forgetting about it. It's actually making a promise and staying true to your promise, staying faithful to your promise. So you've committed to something and you're faithful to your promise, faithful toward that someone or something that you've made that promise to. So it might be a really big commitment, you know. You might commit to marry someone, you might commit to help someone, you might commit to teach someone something. You know, it doesn't really matter what the promise is. The fact is that you keep it and you stay faithful. You want to achieve that outcome that you have promised. That's abide by. So an example, if I make a promise, I abide by it. You can count on that. Or the newlyweds promised to abide by their vows. Oh, it's so beautiful. So there you go, abide by. The final word for this week, number 5, is ambivalence. Ambivalence. We only have one meaning here. So ambivalence really means that you have mixed feelings about something, or what should I say, contradictory ideas about something or someone. So let me explain that a bit more clearly. You have two opposite feelings at the same time. You know, you have a good feeling and a bad feeling, a positive feeling and a negative feeling at the same time. That's ambivalence. So your feelings about something or someone are mixed. You know, it's not usual to have two opposing feelings about something. Normally you either feel this or this, you don't feel both. But if you feel both for some reason, then we call this ambivalence. And it's really about being uncertain about how you feel, I suppose. You're not sure about your feelings because, you know, you've got good and bad at the same time. You don't know which direction to really lean towards. Does that make sense? Yeah. So look, when you have these opposite feelings or these opposite attitudes towards a person, towards an object, maybe even towards an action at the same time, that's what we call ambivalence. So it could be love and hate. It could be attraction and disgust. It could be positive and negative, etc. So an example, I'm sure that will help. She was filled with ambivalence about living and working overseas and leaving her family and friends behind. So that simply means that she had good and bad feelings about it. She wasn't really sure how she felt. Does that make sense? Another example might help. His ambivalence towards marriage will never change. He loves the idea of romance, but he hates the idea of commitment. So there, it's love and hate at the same time about one big concept. One part of the concept you feel positive about, one part of the concept you feel negative about. Does that make sense? Excellent. So that's ambivalence. So there are 5 words for today. We had accolade, affluent, ambiguous, abide, and ambivalence. I hope you really enjoyed those words. I thought that they were really good. They're not the average everyday words that you would use, constantly, but I really think they're important to learn, or at least to recognize, because they're quite advanced and they will make your writing and your speaking much more impressive. So yeah, there you go. They're your 5 words for this week. I hope you've enjoyed them. What I'd like you to do is to practice them throughout the week, of course. So try and maybe use one word every day as much as you can. Write it on your hand or on a post-it note to remind yourself, and try and use it throughout the week. You can use one meaning or both meanings. It's completely up to you. And yeah, what I'd also like you to do is to go and visit my Facebook group, The Successful English Learner by Sydney English Teacher, and you can download the worksheet for this week's words. There you'll find all of the words, all of their meanings, and all of the example sentences written out for you, and there's also room for you to take your own notes. So that's all for this week. I really hope that you enjoyed the new format. I think we'll continue. So obviously this week we did A. Next week we're going to have a look at B. So my homework this week is to listen for some really impressive and helpful words starting with the letter B. If you have any questions at all this week about this week's words, please do write them in the comments section below. I'm more than happy to help. I always am. And yeah, if you have any requests, please do get in touch. I'm always here to help. I'm happy to help. That's what I'm here for. If you haven't joined my Facebook page yet, please do. It's Sydney English Teacher. If you haven't joined my Facebook group yet, please do that. It's The Successful English Learner by Sydney English Teacher. And the YouTube channel. If you enjoy these videos, go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I upload videos there every week, not just Nicole's Weekly Words, but many, many others. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a longer lesson, but it wasn't 30 minutes, so we did well. Thank you so much again, and have a wonderful week. Have fun practicing these great new words. Bye.